Welcome to the Northland. Today we are going to cover some stuff that I bring to the track on race day. For those of you who either go occasionally like I do or maybe have never gone before, this will kind of give you some idea. Now, granted, I go overboard on some things, so feel free to edit or modify this list however you see fit. Those of you who are veteran drivers, maybe you'll find something here that, oh yeah, I should bring that, or comment below if you're telling me I'm silly for bringing it. But we're going to start with safety equipment, me and Mr. Mayhem, and because as my wife is fond of saying, there'll be no fun without safety first. So let's begin. I'm going to try and go over this pretty fast so this isn't a super long video. Anybody has any questions, feel free to comment below and ask me, and I'll be happy to answer them. First thing we're going to cover is helmet. They are not going to let you on the track without a helmet. This one happens to be DOT and Snell certified. Some tracks require that they be Snell certified, which is, I don't know exactly how to describe it. I think it's like a step above DOT helmet. This is like for motorcycle drivers. Okay, now this particular model comes with a tinted visor and a clear visor. Obviously, this is much better at night. It also comes with a bag to put it in to help protect it. And I personally recommend a full face versus an open face design. That way, if you, something happens and you end up hitting your head on the steering wheel, you'll have a little bit more protection. This helmet, I am very happy with this helmet. It wasn't super expensive and it's very comfortable. Next thing, hearing protection. Not always needed, but there are some cars that are out there that are very loud. Now obviously you're not going to be wearing this in the car while you're driving. This is just something that when we're spectators and watching, especially like when dragsters and stuff come up, they are extremely loud. For those of you who have not been to a drag strip. So consider these. You don't always have to wear them. They're light. They don't take up much space. I recommend, or you can bring the little foam ones that plug into your ears too. Those work just as well. This is just regular white shoe polish. And I'll cover this in a later video. Comes with a little foam applicator. This is for writing your car number on, which the tower is going to need to see. So you're going to need to write this on your driver's side window and on your windshield. You'll also use this to put your dial-in times in. Again, I'll cover that in a future video, but this comes in very handy. Otherwise, you got to try and find somebody, or you'll have to go to the tech inspection area to borrow a bottle of theirs. But this way I have my own, I don't have to worry about it. The other thing I do, going back to the helmet, this is a flame retardant balaclava or whatever, goes over your head, covers your neck area. And again, like I said, I know I'm a little overboard, but one of the things that terrifies me is cooking in my car. And trust me, cooking is very discouraged. I very much discourage cooking in your car, especially when it's you. These, again, the flame retardant gloves. Not very expensive, very comfortable, lightweight. You won't get overly hot. Reinforced leather grips, adjustable. So again, nice to have. Again, if something happens and the fire breaks out, you don't realize how much you rely on your hands until something happens and you can't use them, right? So you don't want to burn them up. Another thing I go with is fire retardant shoes or boots. Again, not very expensive. I think these were like 80 bucks or something. So it's just good insurance in my opinion. In fact, all of this stuff, none of it's very expensive. The gloves are like $20. In fact, the helmet's probably the most expensive thing. Now this, you'll notice, this is a full-length fire suit or flame retardant suit. I don't know, how long, can actually withstand in a fire, but I mean, it comes with a It's a full-length zipper, belt, elastic cuffs in both the legs and the arms, and a piece that comes up around your neck, so you're pretty much covered head to toe. Again, you know, the only thing that's actually required is the helmet. All this other stuff is just extra. Do you need it? Probably not. I highly recommend it because, again, if something happens, you can't hit pause. You can't go back and have a do-over, right? It happens, it's going to happen in the blink of an eye, and I've always said it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So think about that. One other piece of safety equipment that I'm not going to show, but is again, it's going to be necessary, is your seat belts, right? They have to be working. When you take your car through tech, they are going to make sure all the safety equipment works. Now, my particular track, they will also allow convertibles to run without a roll cage, at least unless you're, I don't know, over a certain time anyway, over a certain speed or under a certain speed, but you do have to have the top up. Check with your, if you have a convertible and you want to race it, check with your track first, make sure that they will, that's something they will allow. All right, so one other thing I forgot to mention in safety. Now, this isn't the actual one I keep in the car. This one's quite a bit bigger. But I always keep a fire extinguisher in the car too. Just the regular like model that you put in your kitchen or something like that is generally fine. If in fact you have a fire, you know, if that won't put it out, you're probably got bigger problems anyway. And worst case scenario is this: should you get trapped in your car, this may buy you a little bit of time. So I highly recommend having a fire extinguisher in your car and keeping it somewhere handy. I keep mine within reach of the driver's seat. I probably should have it actually hard mounted to the car somewhere, but I do not. So I guess, you know, I mean, if I were to have an accident, maybe the fire extinguisher isn't going to stay where I put it, but there isn't a whole lot of room in, at least not in these cars anyway. But again, I do highly recommend mounting it somewhere in the car if you can do that safely and you know, maybe without ruining your car. I have yet to find a way to do that to where it's not going to damage the interior somehow. So I just have it inside the car on the floor behind the passenger seat. Again, it's within reach, and you know, hopefully it would stay under the seat there and that I could get it out. But anyway, I highly recommend that. Now we'll move on to some stuff with the car. These are radial drag tires. This particular one is a Nitto Triple Nickel R2. I really hoped that I would have better luck with this tire than I did have so far. I don't know exactly what it is. Again, I'm fairly new to this sport, so I'm trying to learn all the tricks of the trade. But what I do is when I go to the track, I typically air these down a little or let the air out of them. So far, in my limited runs, I've found my best times come with about 25 pounds. A lot of people are recommending I go lower than that, but I haven't had luck doing that yet. So I don't know, you know, maybe I can do that and there's some other combination that will allow me to make better times. But right now, I take 25 pounds of air out. And now I put these on, generally on, when I go racing, it's on a Saturday, so I put these on a Friday night. I have jacking rails under the car, lift up the car, take the rear wheels off, put these on in their place. Then when I get to the track, take some air out of these, and I put more air in the front tires. I put the front tires up to about 45 pounds. I don't really like to go much higher than that. I don't think you need to go much higher than that. If any of you know better, correct me if I'm wrong. I do not have skinnies on the car yet, and I don't know that I will. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't made up my mind with that yet, but I do like, the rims are from Steeda. They're the Trident Series wheels. This particular tire is a, what is it again? A 305 35 R19. So And again, this is on a 19-inch wheel, so these will fit under probably a 2018 to 2022 Mustang. If you have something other than that, I would definitely check and make sure. But I do like the tires overall. They do offer more grip than the Michelin Pilot Sports. But I was really hoping that they would do better at the drag strip. So a lot of people have told me the Mickeys are better, so I think next time when I wear these out, I'm going to try Mickey Thompson instead. So another thing I like to bring is a thermometer. This is a digital, just a digital thermometer. Just press the trigger, shoots a little laser, takes temperature. What I use this for is the engine. I like to know how warm the engine is, either in between runs or before a run. Obviously, I mean, we're abusing the cars as it is. I just don't want to over abuse it. So I always check the temperature, make sure we're not too hot. Again, do you need it? No, this is just something I do for my own peace of mind. Another nice thing, a good light. Whether it's a flashlight or a light like this has a magnetic base on it. Push on and off. Obviously it's adjustable here. Because even in the daytime, if you're trying, if you're under the car or something like that, and you need to see something, you're gonna wish you had a light. The other thing, there it is. Actually, let's cover this first. Air tank. I always bring an air tank because when I get done with the race, I'm going to put the front tires back down to normal, but I want to air these back up, right? I want to put these back to, 32, 35 pound, whatever. I don't want to run home, because for me, home isn't just down the street. Home is like 60 miles away or so. Obviously, I don't want to run 60 miles with 20 or 25 pounds in them, and this way I don't have to stop at a gas station and whatever. I just do it right at the track. One air tank like this, if it's full, I could play around with this all night, lowering, raising, whatever air pressures, and still have enough air in it at the end of the day to raise it up. Realistically, this would probably fill up 8 tires maybe, depending on how low they are, I guess. But this particular tank, I fill it up to about 130 pounds or so of air in here, and it works wonders. That brings you to a good, reliable pressure gauge. Obviously, you're going to want to check your air pressures. What I like about this one is this will measure in, I can't remember if it's tenths of a pound or a half pound. Anyway, I know it's at least a half pound. So I can be fairly accurate at least to the half pound. And I like to have, obviously since we're in a straight line, this isn't like NASCAR or anything like that, I like to have all the tires exactly the same, right to the half pound. So a good tire pressure gauge is something I definitely recommend. Fan. This is, again, fully adjustable. Has different speeds on it, even has extra outlets in here, built-in fuse, and I use this for after my run. I blow it on the engine or through the radiator, whatever I feel is necessary. Obviously, in order to do that, you need a power source, so I recommend bringing an extension cord long enough. Unless your track has outlets available, mine doesn't, or at least not where we park. You're going to need, obviously, an electrical source. So, I mean, if you have to bring a generator or whatever, we bring my wife's Jeep as kind of a, I don't know, you want to call it a service vehicle, whatever. We put, stuff in her Jeep. That way I don't have to try and fit all this in the car. Her Jeep has a 12-volt receptacle in it. Otherwise, you would need a like an inverter that you could hook up to your battery so that you could change it over and allow this fan to run. Do you need another vehicle? Probably not. Again, this is just me, because if I happen to break something on the car, I don't want to be stuck at the track. I want to make sure I can get home, at a reasonable time without having to rely on somebody else, leave my car there, and then have to have it towed the next day. I just don't want to mess around. I want to be able to get home. So we do that. Either that, or I guess you can bring a trailer. I think that covers that for that. Let's continue. Let's talk about some creature comforts. I'm not going to have any props here to show you because I don't think that's probably necessary. The first thing I want to mention is, again, check with your track. My particular track allows barbecue grills. So I bring a little Smokey Joe. That way I don't have to pay the extra, because I mean, it's like, what, $7-8 or something for a hamburger. I can bring my own hamburgers, my own hot dogs, bratwurst, whatever, something that's easy to cook. Little protein, little sustenance, right? It's always good to have. If you want to, I'll certainly admit, paying at the track, the convenience of it is a lot easier, and it's a lot less stuff to mess with. Obviously, bring a grill, you either have to bring gas if it's a gas grill, or you have to bring charcoal, lighter fluid, some grilling utensils, or you can bring a Coleman stove. I also have one of those. But again, you have to bring fuel for it and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you plan ahead, if that's the route you choose to go. Otherwise, spend a little extra money and support the track. That's not always bad either. A cooler. I always bring a cooler. Obviously, you can use that to store your food, right? Drinks are nice to have. Cold water, Gatorade or Powerade, Pops, lemonade, whatever. Obviously, no alcoholic beverages, unless you're not driving. Or again, you can buy it at the track. Either way, you're going to want something to drink, trust me. Something else we typically bring is like a camp chair, right? Some folding type of chair. It's lightweight, easy to pack, doesn't take up a lot of room. Nice to have. One other thing that we found very handy is a canopy. A lot of tracks don't have a lot of shade. Sitting in the bleachers or even in just your chair trackside, it can get pretty warm, especially if it's a 90+ degree day with little wind. You're going to wish you had some shade. So we always bring a canopy, and then that way gives you some shade. Or if it rains a little bit, probably won't protect you too much from some serious downpours, but some light rain, keep you dry. The other thing I bring is a tarp for the ground. That way I don't have to always wear my shoes. I like to, in between races, I typically take my suit off and take my boots off or shoes off, and then that way I don't get my socks dirty. I don't have to go barefoot because the tracks aren't always, it's not something you want to do. And the other thing I like about wearing the racing suit is because then I can wear shorts, right? Shorts and a t-shirt. If you are driving, they're going to require you wear long pants, whether it's jeans, sweats, whatever, as long as it's long pants, and some type of shirt. You can't wear any kind of nylon stuff like Under Armour. At least they discourage that. I believe no sleeveless shirts. Obviously closed-toed shoes like tennis shoes, boots, things like that. I suppose maybe that falls under safety equipment, but that's why I bring the ground tarp, is so that I don't have to wear shoes and stuff in between runs. I can be comfortable. One other thing, again, check with your track. The track I go to does allow pets, so sometimes we do bring our dog. They have to be on a leash, and I sometimes bring a collapsible crate, like the wire crate, to put her in, because sometimes my wife likes to walk up to the start line and film there. Obviously, if I'm driving, I can't watch her, and I don't want to just leave her tied up on a leash tied to the fence. We put her in a crate. If you choose to bring a dog or cat, make sure you have plenty of water for them, because again, can get pretty warm. So make sure they have plenty of water. And this is also where the canopy comes in nice, because then they can have some shade too. All right, so thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Even if you didn't like the video, smash the heck out of that like button with whatever you have handy. I'd really appreciate it. Tap the little bell at the bottom. That way you'll be notified anytime I upload a new video. Share it with anybody you think may be interested, especially if they're racing fans or people who like to go racing that you know. And you know, what the heck? Even if they're not interested, share it anyway. All right, stay safe. Again, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.